Bellevue is, in New York, the hospital is such a melting pot for New York City, which is in turn such a melting pot for, all over the world, people from different walks of life and things. And Eric always talks about healthcare being such a network of issues, and particularly it's a reflection of social issues that pervade our time, how people end up there, whether it's mental illness or it's a prisoner being treated from Rikers Island or these various things. So telling these stories about these patients from different aspects of society, I suppose, you really get into these different social issues. We did an episode about these two kids getting shot, so you can talk a little bit about guns or things like that, and that's what's really exciting about the show. Yes, it's an interesting preparation for this part, and the wonderful thing about shooting a television series, any series, is that you get to discover the part as you go along and further inhabit those shoes and learn more about it, and of course work with all these other terrifically talented actors and the writers, and everybody kind of starts to inform you what this part is, particularly Eric, that the role is based on, is such a thoughtful guy, and his compassion really comes through, and Eric's real life battle with cancer, thank God successfully, is a really inspirational story. And as an actor, you want to just do some justice to a very real fight that a lot of people face. And the theatrical part of it is you're trying to understand what's the emotional aspect of that fight, and what's the mental and physical toll, and the spiritual fight that you really have to fight to remain positive and confront your own mortality and all these things, and at the same time trying to run this enormous hospital. So it's a challenging role, and it's one that's really exciting to take on. Yeah, absolutely. If you're playing a doctor, you're never gonna, it's no substitute for going to medical school for years, of course. But we have the privilege of having doctors and nurses on our set. In our writing staff, David Foster is one of our writers, who's a physician as well. And, they help bring that authenticity, and they help educate us what a real life situation may look like. So we read this scene, and then you say, well, what's the first thing you would do? And we have that conversation, and we can educate ourselves on what you might do, what kind of state you might be in, not just in terms of what kind of medicine would you provide or care, or what's the first thing you would do, but how would you be feeling, because Ryan, my reaction to an emergency would be very different from someone who's a professional, whose job it is to be graceful under fire, and handle an emergency like that. So it's really interesting. And of course, talking to Eric just about his many experiences in healthcare and where he thinks the system could improve, and just all the different people he's met, and is always a fascinating conversation and very helpful.